Thought I'd start this video off with a little bit of a bonus for County Sheepdog there. That is my barbecue. It is no longer an amorphous white blob sitting in the yard. We still probably got a good 1.5 feet, 2 feet of snow in piles in the yard from having to shovel and everything, but the weather is steadily improving. It's warm enough today. It's like +5 outside, and I was actually outside in a t-shirt today, and I'm kind of looking forward to the weather getting better because this winter stuff, it's bullshit. Right, back to the business at hand. So, a little while ago, I was on one of my junkin' runs and I found this little old stereo cabinet. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but I saw this and I thought, hey, that would actually be a really great display for my cores and my cylinders, because before I had them in a bread box and they're all just kind of jumbled in there and thrown on top of each other type of thing. It wasn't very organized, it wasn't very good looking at all, so I brought this home, cleaned her up a bit, and now I got a really lovely display. I'm still kind of cleaning things up, figuring out where things go, but have a look in here. We got some very good variety here. I love my Medeco cylinders. Oh, sexy, sexy. So I've got a really great variety of cylinders and cores in here. This is my permanent collection, meaning none of these are likely to ever leave here. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, we're gonna put her on pause here, and we're gonna get back to the stuff that we're actually going to talk about. All right, back to the business at hand. We're sitting here at the magical desk. I don't have the phone in the holder today because I thought we'll go freehand, so you guys got to put up with my jiggly camera work because I'm all wasted on caffeine. All right, so what we got here is a little Wiser clone. This is a Beaver. Now, the significance of this is, for those of you who don't live in Canada, Beaver Lumber was a hardware retailer in Canada for many years. It was like one of the giants. There was Beaver Lumber, Home Hardware, and Revelstoke. Home Hardware and Beaver, to my knowledge, are completely gone. They've been gone for years now, ever since Home Depot moved in. And Revelstoke changed their name to Rona, and they're still around, but my understanding is that they're struggling a bit because they just can't compete with the retail giants like Home Depot and Lowe's. So this Beaver cylinder, it's obviously a Wiser knockoff. Wouldn't surprise me at all if this was actually made by Wiser and they just put a Beaver cap over top of it. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But it's not a terrible quality. I mean, it's all brass, right? So there's that. It's definitely not a complete piece of crap. So this was, for the longest time, my back door lock, and it's been getting very sticky recently. Typically, what I would do is just give it a little bit of slut butter. I typically use Super Lube, which is a PTFE lubricant. For those of you who don't know what PTFE is, that is basically Teflon. So this lock was getting sticky and jammed up, and it didn't really seem to matter whether or not I put lube in it. It was still getting sticky. So I finally swapped it out with a different cylinder. I had an old Tamor kicking around, and it's just as good as this old Beaver, so I rekeyed it and slapped it in there. So when I took this Beaver apart to take the guts out, what I had discovered is that they had a lot of the key pins were really short, and in several of the chambers, whoever had rekeyed it had used more than one wafer pin, because they obviously didn't have the correct pins at the time, and they just made up the difference with wafer pins, which by itself isn't really a problem, but as you add more wafer pins into it, you just basically add more places for stuff to get stuck. So one of these chambers, they actually had like this really tiny like number 2 pin and like 3 wafers stacked on top of it, which is a little bullshit. So whatever, it's all been rectified now. I just went and threw I can't even remember which pins I threw in here, but I kind of mixed it up a little bit so it wouldn't be super easy to pick. Not that it's really a big deal. One's probably going to go into my permanent collection. I would imagine that there aren't too many of these cylinders uh, left. Beaver lumber has been gone for at least 15, 20 years. Maybe less than that, but they've been gone for a while now, so I would imagine there aren't too many of these cylinders kicking around still. All right, back on to our next little bit of business here. So, my very good friend and mentor, Badger, she is now the official locksmith of the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, which is like a technical school. If you want to be a welder, or mechanic, or a carpenter, you would go to this school. Anyways, she landed the job. Good for her. Ha ha ha. These are some cores that she had kicking around. These are still from Dial Locksmith, so thank you, Dial, for not throwing away garbage ever, because that garbage is like my treasure. She passed me off a couple of really nice cylinders here, and we'll get a little bit closer so we can see the brand names, because I know the brightness of everything, eh? Like, I couldn't leave my curtains closed today. It's just so nice and sunny outside, and it's actually warm. You can actually feel the warmth of the sun. I wanted to, turn off the electric lights and get a little bit of actual sunshine, because we up here in the north haven't really had an abundance of it. Anyways, moving forward, the first three are Corbins. So we got nice old original Corbin, nice Corbin Russwin, and what appears to be like a mid 80s Corbin when they changed their logo to this gay ass little oval looking thing there, which I don't like. And moving on, we have this really lovely Yale here, and this one is an American made Yale. You can see they're made in the USA. Before moving on to this really beautiful Sargent. I like Sargent, and I really like their old logo. And we also have here, this is kind of the crown jewel, this ASA cylinder here. Hold on, let's see if we can get the markings on the key. Old ASA Stenman made in Sweden logo. So this was a really, really nice addition to the collection. And I have a bit of a project here. I have a Schlage Primus. The key that came with this is 0-bitted, which means you could kind of see the marks on there, which means this was like a display model or something like that. So I gotta pop this bugger apart and see if I can file the, pull the plug out, see if I can file this key down so we can get a working key for this bugger, because right now this does not work, but god damn is it a nice cylinder. Or, sorry, not cylinder, it's a core. We'll put that off over there, and here's another one which actually might end up on the chopping block. We have a lovely Schlage Everest interchangeable core here. I do not have, I thought I had an orphan key that fit in here, but the key profile is not the same. And it's a bit of a pain in the ass to get these keys, so I may actually put this one up on the chopping block this spring with a couple other goodies that I have. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. So we're gonna sign off by a lovely view of my backyard, which is still covered in frickin' snow, but it is slowly, ever so slowly, melting away now, and nothing would please me more than for all of this snow to just fuck right off so I can bust out the roller skates and get out there rolling again. Anyways, I hope everybody is doing all right, and we'll talk to you again real soon.